Hola mi gente y bienvenidos a Mierda que hemos leído, un podcast de libros presentado por unos amigos geeky. Me llamo Jason Rico y... Espera, algo anda mal. There we go. Sorry, I had the SAP button on. Is that even still a thing? I don't fucking know. Anyway, let's try that again. Hello and welcome to Shit We Read, a sci-fi fantasy book podcast hosted by some geeky friends. My name is Jason Rico and I will be your host on this episode where we will be discussing A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya, or Angela Montoya if you're feeling nasty. Joining me on this episode, who is laughing her butt off right now, is my good friend Laura Benson. Hi, Laura.
Hi, hello. I was worried I was at the wrong podcast for a second.
Oh my.
Yeah, the English podcast is Wednesday nights. Tonight is Spanish.
Oh, my bad.
Got it.
Sorry, there's a mix-up with the schedule. Sorry.
Got it.
Anyhow,
Got it.
How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing okay. I'm happy to be here talking with you both today.
Yes. Yes, and we're happy that you're here. The other person in this both that Laura referenced is, of course, our good friend Bella Romero. Hi, Bella.
Hola, mi gente latino. Just kidding. Yeah.
There we go. What's up?
I was like, oh shit. Okay, I'm not. I was like, let me dust off my Spanish. Damn, dude. But I like it. How are you doing? I'm excited to be here.
I'm good. Good. I'm glad you're here. It's been a while since we had you on a regular episode, so glad you're back for this one. I was nervous about doing this bit because while I do speak Spanish, I definitely have an accent. And I was like, if I do this, it's out there in public, you know? My accent is going to live on forever if I don't nail this. And if I don't nail it, I can't really edit it out. It wouldn't be an easy fix. So here we are.
Yeah. I will say I was very impressed. I was impressed. It sounded great.
Gracias. I appreciate it. Thank you. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. September, so that's part of the reason why I did the Spanish. Part of the reason why you chose this book. It's also spooky season, so this book
es spooky season.
See, es spooky season. There you go. Thank you.
Spooky. Come on, Rico, you gotta commit to the bit.
It's okay. Listen, it's an audio podcast. So you can't see me anyway. But I had this whole mariachi outfit on that I was gonna wear, but it just got way too hot.
Yeah,
so.
It's still too hot in Sacramento.
I just changed to
right
my tried and true vampire T-shirt. So.
Well,
I tried
for the followers, you'll include a photo on one of our future posts. Oh no, we already posted it.
Yes, as the time of this episode's out, it's already on social media. Correct. And that's the way time works.
My bad.
So, yeah. So if you want to see me, you can...
formulate that.
We got to go back to the future. Anyway, so before we, talk about the book at hand, as always, we always talk about the other shit we're reading. So, Laura, what else have you been reading?
I've had this book on my TBR for a very long time. Well, at least it feels like a long time. I read The Final Six and The Life Below by Alexander Munier. I think it's Munier. I believe it's a duology. I feel like it could be a trilogy, but I don't know if it's going to be. But it's a young adult sci-fi series, duology, whatever. It takes place in like a near future where Earth is being ravaged by erratic climate change. And so the world's leaders get together and they choose 6 teenagers and they are going to send them on a mission to Jupiter's moon, Europa, to help begin the resettlement process for humankind. It was very interesting because it's kind of like a competition. So they actually choose 24 teenagers from around the world based on their various strengths. So like one of the main characters, Naomi, is a quote unquote science genius from California. And the other main character, Leo, is a championship swimmer from, I think, Italy. It makes sense when you get into it. But they go through this like super intense training program that's essentially a competition. And so they're, being narrowed down to essentially choose their final 6. So the name of the first book. And in the process of this training, Naomi starts suspecting that they're not being told the truth, and they don't really know what's at risk. They don't know what the actual mission is. And so she starts kind of investigating and ends up roping Leo into helping her figure out what's happening.
Okay.
I won't get into exactly what happens. I won't get into the second book because it's spoilery for the first book. But I will say overall, it was highly unrealistic.
Oh, God.
Like these kids literally learn and do this training in a month before they're going to be sent off to space. And I was just like, this wouldn't happen. Why are they doing this training? Why are they not doing this other training? And it was very interesting. But I will say, if you just get past how unrealistic it was actually pretty fun. And so as soon as I finished the first book, I immediately checked out the second book because I needed to know what was going to happen next. I do still recommend it. It was a lot of fun. Just again, remember it is a young adult book. So it's very young adult.
I was like, I think I missed it at the beginning. So I was going to be like, this sounds like a young adult book. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds about right for YA.
It.
I mean,
I did.
Yeah. YA is good for like entertainment. I love YA for that reason. Like it kind of brushes over some of the like reality components of storytelling. So it's just a good time. It's just there to have fun.
Yeah,
which is always Rico's goal with a book. Yeah. It's just to have fun. So I think all of us too, but I just like calling him out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. It's also nice to read YA because I feel like all the emotions in a YA book are so elevated and so heightened.
True.
And I forgot what it's like to be young and have those emotions because I am dead inside now. So
it feels that way.
You're quite old. Right, you're quite old.
Wow. Jason,
yeah.
I apologize that you get so much shit for being quote unquote old, and I'm not much younger than you.
Listen, normally, I might take offense to it, but it's spooky season. So Bella calling me old, I just take it as I'm immortal.
That's
I'm
a good way to look
it's the
at
season,
it. There you go.
Yeah, you are basically in the grave. So yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully not for anytime soon. Anyway, Bella, what have you been reading?
Clearly lots of macabre topics. No, I've actually, you know what, guys, I have not done a ton of reading, even though I did feel like I was on a little bit of a reading kick. I've had so many things going on. We rescued a kitten. Before I even rescued a kitten, like I haven't even shared this with people, but like I bought an old truck that I'm fixing up. So like I've escalated my hobbies.
Yeah, we didn't know this.
Yeah. Wow. Rico, please don't murder me in my sleep. For my car. It's a 1988 Ford Ranger, black with all red interior. And
that sounds nice.
It's a vampire truck.
Nice. I wouldn't murder you. The car just might go missing. But
yeah. Well, this is nice knowing you guys. I'll see you never. That's my cue. So I haven't been reading a lot, but what I have been reading is a lot of fantasy. I don't even remember. I know I read our After Dark book. I read this book pretty quickly, like immediately after, because I was just like feeling it. So I've been done with this book for a while, but I am currently reading.
I hope you remember enough.
I do. I like just finished it. I want to say like on Friday or Saturday. So it's been almost a week, but
okay.
I listened to it for like a long time because it's a good long audiobook. But I'm currently reading Holy Terrors by Margaret Owen, which is the third and final book, I believe, in the Little Thieves series. Emma Skies recommended it to me. So I'd read like the first one, which was really, really good, which was a spin on the Goose Girl fable, I believe, right? Am I crazy? I think it's that one.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait a second. There are a couple
sure
Goose
correct,
Girl fables that retellings that Emma Sky says recommended.
They were making the rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. It's having a phase, having an era. It's really good. I think the first book was so good. The series it's been hard to capture what was magical about the first book because you can't repeat the Goose Girl retelling component. So like all the characters are the same, but the story is very different. So the second book, like I kind of remember it, not really. And the third book is far more interesting, I think, than the second so far, but also not as good as the first one so far. But I could be wrong. I'm only like maybe 20% in, so not that much in. But yeah, so I've been listening to books while working on my car and cuddling a kitten. So it's can't complain. But it's
nice.
Been busy. We rescued
not a bad life.
No, it's not. But we did rescue like a 4 or 5 week old kitten. So if anyone is aware of how much work that is, it's like 4 meals a day. Like you got to play with them. They cry. She's very sweet. Introducing our cat and our dog to her. So, it's just been busy, but we're getting used to it. And she's already like 8 weeks old. So she's, growing really quickly, feels like. So
she is very cute. Very, very cute.
Yeah. For our audio podcasters, she is a white cat with blue eyes, which is like a pretty rare cat combo. So I think somebody just like threw her out on the street because she has one little black smudge on the top of her head, which is really sad. And I hate people, but she's very sweet. So yeah. Wow. But what have you been reading, Rico?
Supremacy,
Oh my God, not my Aryan cat. Damn.
On a Hispanic Heritage Month too? Jeez.
I know. Gonna get my Latino card revoked.
Yeah, you're good. The last book I read was this past Sunday, so we're recording on a Thursday. So on Sunday, I listened to the audiobook for Blood Moon by Gillian Graves, which is a standalone smutty novel that takes place in the same universe as Titan, a daddy dom. What was it? Daddy Dom Romance, which we previously read for the podcast. Bella is shaking her head. I think it was one of Bella's favorites, if I remember correctly. Correct? Yeah. No. You will be happy to know that this one did not have a daddy component to it whatsoever.
Oh, thank God.
So this one was safe. And the only reason I listened to it was because Sunday was the Blood Moon. And so I was like, I need a book that's on theme. And this one was really short. It was like a 3-hour audiobook. So it was short. It was sweet. It was about this female club owner. She's a witch. Her specialty is potions, but which she translates into like bartending. She owns a club, and then across the street, this new club comes in.
Of course.
Owned by a vampire, a very sexy, pale vampire. But she doesn't know that they hook up like immediately. It's a little bit of spoiler, but immediately at the gate, they like have a quick tryst, and then they meet each other officially, and they're like, oh, it's you. And so it's that rival kind of to lover story. Super sweet, super, super quick. Not sweet as in like endearing, sweet as it's like a sweet little story, just quick, easy,
gotcha.
So
after Dark has ruined, it's ruined our definition of sweet, huh?
I want to make that very clear. It was not a sweet book like that. But it was fun. So, and yeah, that's what I read.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so let's move on to the book at hand that we are discussing, which is A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya, which was published December of last year by Joy Revolution. Here are some of the content warnings for anybody who wants to take note of these. Blood, death of loved ones recounted on and also on page. Murder, gun violence, knife violence, death of animals off page, and misogyny. It is I'll just say this before we get to the synopsis. It is basically a vampire story, which is why we chose it for spooky season. Also written by a Latinx author. So again, Hispanic Heritage Month. So it it checks all the boxes of something we want to read. And also it just sounded like something fun that we want to read anyway. So Bella, I want to pick on you. Do you want to read the synopsis for us?
You know, I was just thinking I'm going to get picked on. I'm ready. I'm ready though.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm ready to talk about it. Let me just scroll down. Okay. A fledgling vampire and a headstrong vampire huntress must work together against their better judgment to rid the world of monsters and this irresistible romantic fantasy. Carolina Fuentes has always wanted to join her family in hunting down the bloodthirsty monsters that plague her pueblo. But these days, her father wants her out of town with a husband of his choosing. That's not happening. Carolina plans to show everyone that she'd make a better vampire slayer than wife. But when she turns into a sediento that is not only handsome, but kind, she questions everything. Lalo Villalobos doesn't act on impulses. As the eldest of two, his duties were to carry on the family business, marry, and have children. But then he is turned into a sediento and must flee the city, taking lives as he goes north, where he believes the first vampire was made. Surely the pueblo there will have the answers to reverse this curse or end sedientos altogether. Another unexpected turn? Lalo runs right into a beautiful young woman who'd gladly stake him. Fortunately, mostly for him, they share a common enemy. They can stop these evil beasts, together. And if along the way Lalo and Fernanda discover what it is to truly live in love, then they'll have one anyway.
Gracias.
De nada.
As always, let's do our first impressions. No spoilers, thoughts. Laura, why don't you tell me, what did you think of this book?
I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know what to expect, but I liked it. I mean, I don't know how much of this is new ideas or based on real lore, but I enjoyed how it was a little bit different. What we generally imagine is a vampire and how they become vampires. So I had a nice time kind of learning, getting to know this different idea of what they are, different, just different things about them. And I liked the characters. Carolina was, I kind of had a connection with her personality a little bit.
Okay.
She's very, how would I describe her? She's very confident and I'd say probably blunt in a way. And I would say that I definitely lean towards that blunt kind of side. And so some of the things that she would just say, I just thought was really funny, but in other circumstances might have not been the greatest idea to say them. So she did have me laughing a lot. I will say I do not have the same level of confidence, but she, again, was making me laugh, the things that she was saying. Lalo was he's just a cute, quiet, nerdy boy is the way that I kind of saw him. And I felt like that their chemistry I bought into. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Bella?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect either. Even reading the synopsis again, I was kind of like, it doesn't really tell you a lot about the tone of the story and these characters. Like Lalo's kind of sweet and nerdy, really awkward. Like I just think a lot of us have this, like when I hear like vampire and vampire huntress, I'm like, oh, so like a Buffy vibe, right? Like Spike and Buffy. He's not Spike. He's like a Xander. Like he's so awkward and it's like kind of bookish and like doesn't know how to hang out at parties. Like it acts like he's 80 years old, and like has never lived really. Cause he's like, he very much is like the eldest son in that regards. So that was really sweet and endearing. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. Like, especially like with vampires, I was like, is he going to be a vampire right off the bat? We start off with him being turned, which was also really interesting. Like just the difference in that, like it's a vampire story of someone being turned with the support of his family. Like he has his sister the whole time, which I don't think is a spoiler. It mentions in the synopsis that she's there. So like he didn't have to leave her behind. him and Carolina like worked together. So it's like, it was really interesting. It was different, at least from what I've read. And it was kind of like a cozy vampire book. Like, I didn't feel like anything was really like high stakes. Like, oh, I'm worried that someone could die at any moment. Like, it felt kind of YA in that way, that like everything's going to work out. But we are going to have a little bit of a mystery on our hands. So I found myself just wanting to be in that world a lot, even if nothing was happening. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't say this was the most exciting book I've ever read. Like, I was talking to our friend Z, who obviously fellow vampire lord, the Vampire La France. So I was telling them, I was like, it's not anything crazy. This isn't like a super sexy, like hot rock and roll vampire book. It was just cool. It was just a fun world to be in. I really loved the representation of being in Mexico, like during, like before it was I think it's like Alta California. So it's like not even California yet. Like it's Mexico.
Yeah.
So that was just really cool. I just was kind of like, I feel like they talk about the paleteria and the carniceria and like, I don't know. It was just kind of fun to just be in that world, even though I think that could have been fleshed out more. It did feel very, it felt a little like we were just kind of in the same place all the time between like the village and their home, which is outside of the village. Yeah, very contained. So yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about like the overall like novel and like how would I recommend this, but I had fun reading it. Like overall, it gets great points for just being a fun time, and I really enjoyed the characters. I listened to the audiobook, so I also enjoyed our narrators a lot. And yeah, just hearing things in Spanish is always really fun. So I can't complain. Rico, what did you think?
I my views are pretty much in line with both of you. I did enjoy this book overall. I did have fun with it. I did enjoy the two main characters, Carolina and Lalo. They were great. I thought it was a nice kind of flip of expectations, especially in this era, and especially in Mexico. Like, you know, you kind of have like the machismo and like the guys are the gallant ones, the brave ones are the ones out there fighting. But no, that's Carolina. She's the one that wants to be the vampire hunter. We have Lalo, who is this kind of nerd. He likes his books. He's pretty timid overall. And he's the one that kind of is the damsel in distress in certain, you know, ways. Yes. And so that was a cool little, you know, flip of what to expect. I did love all the flavoring throughout of, you know, Latin history and Latin culture, all the references you mentioned, Bella, and all the other ones, Spanish words here and there. It just, you know, especially for someone who is of that culture, it just, I think it leaned into it feeling cozy for me because it did feel like home in some ways. Mm-hmm. You know, like this did feel like maybe a story my abuela would tell me or something, you know, or like a tia. And so I did enjoy that. So overall, and Laura, to your point, I did really enjoy the take on vampire lore. I by no means claim to be an expert in Latin American mythology, so I can't tell you how much of this is rooted in real beliefs. But this book did what I think some of the best books do, which is pulls from existing mythology and blends it with other stuff in a way where you don't know what is like what already exists and what is brand new that the author brought to it. Like the author connected vampires in a way that we understand the fangs and drinking of the blood, the aversion to sunlight, but connected it to Latin American deities, Mesoamerican deities in a way that I don't think is real, but I don't know that for a fact, and it worked in the context of the book. And so I really did enjoy that. You know, it made it fresh, it made it new, made it interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's one main thing about it that left me disappointed, and I will say it is not even the book's fault, it is the marketing's fault. Bella, you did bring up the comparison to Buffy, and then a lot of the marketing out there, a lot of the blurbs I saw compared it to Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Zorro. And that brought very specific things to mind. And I don't really feel like that was accurate. Like we didn't really get Buffy. We didn't really get Zorro. And so I kept waiting for that. I kept waiting for that element to present itself, and it never did. And so, like I said, it's not the book's fault. The book didn't set out to tell me that. That's the marketing's fault. But it did leave me a little disappointed. But again, I did enjoy the book overall. That was a fun time. I'm glad we picked it. I'm glad I read it. And this is an author that I've been wanting to read for a while, too. This is the first book I read by her. She's local to Northern California. Bella, you and I have actually met her at a book signing before. She's very lovely. She has another book out that I want to read. And I heard she has a third book coming out that, again, sounds really good. So like, her premises sound very good. So I'm really excited that I finally got to read a book by her. And
Yeah, I just want to echo the whole marketing aspect. That's why I was like, I would market this as like a cozy, like vampire mystery, like cozy romance, not really like an action. Zorro and Buffy are like action, kind of campy horror for Buffy a little bit at times. And this really wasn't that. Like the sedientos that they encounter like throughout the book are just kind of like flies on the wall, like almost like they're swatting a fly away. Like they're almost like an afterthought later, just in the nature of like how this town is set up and stuff. Like no one goes out at night, things like that. Like it's, they are used to vampires. So yeah, I think the marketing was like a disservice to this book because it actually was really good. I just think I was like a little disappointed at first. It wasn't quite like Buffy vibes. And once I let that go, I really enjoyed it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Buffy, is action and humor. Like, it's like camp. Zorro is adventure. It's swashbuckling. But really at the heart of this story, it's romance. This book is all romance. The vampires are just kind of sprinkled throughout as flavoring. So,
I felt like the vampire... Oh, this might be spoiler. I'll wait.
On that note.
Hey, internet bookworms. We love books in all their forms. Paperbacks, ebooks, and audiobooks.
And thanks to bookshop.org and libro.fm, it's easy to build your perfect TBR online from the comfort of your own home and keep Shit We Read running.
First up, let's talk about bookshop.org. They've got thousands of titles, from bestsellers to indie gems, and they now offer ebooks alongside paperbacks and hardcovers. Every purchase you make through our bookshop link supports this very podcast.
And for our audiobook lovers, meet Libro.fm. Audiobooks are the perfect way to squeeze more reading into your busy life, whether you're doing chores, walking the dog, or just relaxing. The free Libro.fm app lets you listen to all the same audiobooks as the big guy.
You know who we're talking about.
But your purchases directly support us. Plus, all Libro.fm audiobooks are DRM free, so you truly own your audiobooks.
If that isn't enough reason to switch to Libro.fm, they're sweetening the deal by giving our listeners 3 audiobooks for the price of 1 when you start a new monthly membership with promo code SWRPOD. That's promo code SWRPOD.
Just remember, to support the show, make sure you use the special links in our show notes or go to shitweread.com.
A big thank you to bookshop.org and Libro.fm for supporting our show.
And as always, thank you, the listeners, for listening, sharing, and reading along with us. Now let's get back to our episode. Okay, all right. Yeah, let's just get into it then. This is your spoiler warning. Laura's going to drop a bomb, I'm sure. No, I'm just kidding. But no, this is now spoiler territory. If you've not read the book and you want to, please exit the room and come back later. Okay, I think they're gone now. Laura, what do you got to say?
I was just gonna say it felt like the vampires that they mostly dealt with in their little town village. They leaned more towards like zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were just like she describes them. They're like emaciated and like not really wholly there anymore and stuff. And it just made me think more of the kind of like crazy zombies. And the more like actual, alive human versions of them just didn't reside there. They went to the cities.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really feel like they were really vampire hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We didn't really get the hunting component. Like, the family are hunters, but that never really came into play. Like, the vampires kind of showed up and left. And so, like, oh yeah, all the action that we were promised, either by the marketing or even the premise of the family being hunters, just fell flat for me, which is disappointing because I would have loved to have seen, I would have loved to have seen Carolina finally have that moment, that big moment where she became a full-blown hunter. And, it was alluded to towards the end. Yeah, I wanted her to become Buffy. I wanted her to be out there, be badass, rip the skirt, make it short, put her hair back, like go out there, kick ass. And I can't tell if that was a reaction to me or a reaction to you agreeing.
To you in the skirt comment, sir. This is not after
dark. I just feel it's very cliche. No, I don't mean like that, but I feel like that's very cliche.
These are children.
Sure.
I get what you're saying though. Like, and that would make sense in this setting too, because like it's scandalous for her to have a pair of pants.
Yeah.
So like in this setting, it would have made sense for her to be like, I'm about to fight. Make her skirt shorter so it's not in the way. I get it.
Yeah. I just think there's a greater opportunity to have her, become more of a, I don't know, feminist character. I mean, the book's not setting out to do that. It's not promising that. But like so much of how she lives her life is dictated by her dad. Saying, no, you can't do that. You're my daughter. Like, stay at the house. Don't follow in the family, trade. Like her grandfather believed in her. Her grandfather trained her, but that's it. And so I would have loved to really see her be like, no, like this is who I am. And she does run off with Lalo, and she does take it upon herself with Lalo to chase down the big bad and do all that. So she does have her moment, but not to the heights that I was expecting.
That said, I did still enjoy this book despite the marketing. So I think it's really it just set us up for certain expectations that were just not accurate.
Yeah, I thought the love story was very good. I really did enjoy them together. Like I already mentioned, she's more of the action-oriented one. He's more of the nerd. Their engagement of convenience was very cute. And then obviously, you see them over the course of the book eventually fall in love. So all that was very satisfying. I bought into it completely. Like I really liked them as a couple. That was very realistic. I've dated some very headstrong, independent women, and so I definitely connected with them. Like kind of calling the shots here and there, and Lalo kind of being into it, and then eventually Lalo also like steps up when he needs to, especially when he deals with was that Rafa, Carolina's other suitor. And so it was fun to see him step up with Rafa and be like, no. She's mine, even though it's for pretend, but it's not really for pretend. Okay, so we talked about Carolina, we talked about Lalo a little bit. Let's talk about some of the other characters, because there's a good cast of characters here. Lalo has his little sister, Fernanda, who is a great another character. What do we think of Fernanda?
She's so cute.
She was so fun. Like I really liked the balance she brought to Lalo. Like he was the really serious one. She was kind of like, she also was serious. She was very like, she loved him so much. Like you could tell she was really worried about him, but ultimately like she was there to sort of remind him of his humanity, which was really interesting. And like, she was still like teasing him, like, go to the party, stop, sulking about, this curse, like go live a little. And I think that just helped keep it really light and brought us some really fun moments. Like Carolina's family, I swear, threw a party like every day in this book. And like, yeah. Like I was like, what party is this for again?
Accurate.
But like accurate, right? It didn't feel inauthentic. Like it was like, oh, like the not the vaqueros, like what were they? The merchants. What are they called? But like they were there to like look at their bulls, and they're like, so we throw them a party. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't you throw a party for the visitors from out of town? And then like it was like her birthday, or no, it was her grandfather's wake was like a big party. And it just was like everything was a party, and it was beautiful. And Fernanda just like was there to make sure that like Lalo, because Lalo wouldn't go on his own. So I think she really served as like the catalyst for Carolina and Lalo to like fall in love, because she was like, we have to go to this party. Like, we have to be human. This is how we'll fight the curse until you can actually find what fights the curse. And like, ultimately it is what saves him. And so I think that was really cool. Like, she obviously planned that, our author. I mean, she planned everything, but like, I think there was payout for it, which I think is sometimes like books will fail with those details. And you're like, oh, his sister just wanted to party a lot. Like, no, there was a point to it. And that's what saves him later, is like his humanity and his love for Carolina, for his sister, for the Fuentes in general. Like, being part of a family was really important to him. And that was just such a beautiful theme. I think that was like really sweet to see. And I really liked Fernanda, and then Nena and Fernanda. That was so like, called it from a mile away. Like, come on. She was like, oh, his sister's so cute. And I was like, ooh, they're going to kiss. And I just loved it. It was so fun. It was just like a fun little side plot. And they both, I love that like both of these characters were similar enough that it made sense when they got together too. It wasn't just like, oh, proximity, right? Like, oh, her best friend / cousin, like his sister / best friend. Oh, they're going to get together. It was like, no, they're both like the lives of the party. Like, they're that friend that flirts with everybody, like Rico, right? Like, imagine like two Ricos finding each other. Like, whoa, crazy. Like, that's going to be a fun time. But
I don't think the world's ready for that.
I don't think so. But like, Fernanda and Nena were so similar. It made sense, where it was like, but you know, it's kind of like one of those like, oh, they're just going to like make out and that'll be the end of it. But they actually fell in love, and that was really cute. And that's because they had like the same values, and it just all made sense. And it was just a good time. So I don't know. As side characters, while a little one note, were still really important. So like, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they still had, even though they were there as kind of just like the fun, less serious kind of characters, they still had their place in the story. And what I really enjoyed about Fernanda too is that I think it was when we were reading from Carolina's perspective that Fernando kept saying things that Carolina was like, oh, she's saying this so everybody knows XYZ. She's saying this so that I can't, kill Lalo right here or whatever it is. So she was like, from her perspective, she's saying, oh, Fernanda's not just the fun girl of this party. Like, she is intelligent. She knows what's going on right now. She is helping him. She is making sure they are both going to be safe.
Yeah, I also really like that towards the end of the book when Lalo and Carolina are going to take off, right, and they're going to go, break this curse and defeat the big bad, that Lalo wrote the letter to Fernanda, and I loved how he called out that is like, you've always been the one who lives, like I'm the one that kind of sticks to my books, but you out there, you're the one that's dated, you're the one that's experienced life, and I love you for that. And I think he says like, because he's expecting to die, but you can tell that he has this sense of like, I wish I lived my life a little more like that, and I would love to live my life like that moving forward, if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was really sweet, and especially as I have two sisters, younger sisters. I know definitely what it's like to love your sisters and see them for who they are, and really celebrate that how different they are from you. They're their own persons, and you love them for that. And so that really kind of resonated with me of Lalo seeing his sisters like, I love you, for who you are, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad he had her. I'm glad he had her on this journey, because he definitely he needed her to he needed her big time, to have something to live forward, to fight, to stay good and not succumb to becoming a monster, and yeah. But speaking of becoming a monster, I admit I may have missed this. I don't know if it was clear, if I just fucking missed it. I didn't quite understand how or why he was able to stay good when all the other vampires were shown as like full-on monsters. Because at first I thought it was a matter of him only consuming animal blood, but he has definitely consumed human blood. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe he hasn't killed anybody. Maybe he's only like nibbled a little bit here and there. But no, he's definitely said he's killed. So did I just completely miss? Why is he still holding on to his humanity when no one else has?
I didn't feel like it was super well explained.
Okay.
At one point, it's like, I can resist human blood and live off animals. Because like, that's how, that was his punishment. What from Maricela was that she was like, oh, and don't you think that just having animal blood is going to keep you from turning evil? Like, your body will eat you from the inside out. So he's supposed to be wasting away. So that's what I found really interesting, was like, it never really got explained, like why he was able to like stay as stable as he was. And I think that was also kind of a mystery to them, but I don't think it was a big enough mystery for anybody, because it felt like this was a lot of time spent. Like, I think I had a hard time with like the time passing, like how many days has it been, like total from start to end. I know it was probably like a couple of weeks, but I like really couldn't tell you specifically. I don't feel like anyone was ever like, it's been a week since we came to this town. It's been a month since we came to this town. So I think it was, my interpretation of it was all the time he spent around humans was what was keeping him human. I think being around his sister, his love for her, I think just being around humans, I think resisting the urge, like sheer willpower. And I had this really good insight, and I should have just fucking written it down because I, of course, don't remember it. But it was something about like being around humanity is what kept him sane and ultimately like not wasting away into like descending into the disease. And that's where Maricela was wrong, because he mentions at one point, like a lot of the sedientos, like they isolate themselves, like they go off and they leave towns. And I was like, I think that's why he didn't go crazy, is because he stayed. He like forced himself to like be normal. But I don't know. That's like, again, not stated in the book, just kind of my interpretation of what's happening. And I don't know. It's really interesting. It would be nice if that was it. Like just being around humanity allows you to preserve your humanity, but I have no idea. Like community is what makes us whole.
Well, I wonder too if maybe, is it possible that at least in the city, maybe she chooses who she's actually changing. And so she really just did it to him as a punishment. But that doesn't mean everybody else she's turned was a punishment. It could have been that they were the type of person that she wanted to be her child. That doesn't really answer the question for the vampires that are, like in Carolina's town. It's a little bit of a different story. But in terms of the city, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that the people that she took were the type of people that she wanted to have working for her. Mm-hmm. So they could already have been monsters. Gotcha.
So she was turning humans who are already monsters, essentially, is kind of what you think.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's fair. This is definitely one of those things where, we're filling in the gaps that the book doesn't have, because I kept waiting for there to be the big explanation of like, because, like in Twilight, we get the explanation that the Cullens choose to be what they call vegetarians, right? Like they could consume humans, but they're willingly choosing to not do that. And so fine, I get that there's a precedent for that. And I kept waiting for there to be something like that where we find out about other sedientos who also have resisted and have chosen to be good, and I was like, but it's just him so far, and we don't really get an explanation for it, and I'm just trying to figure out the logic of how do you turn, how do you not turn, because he's done everything, everything to turn him fully has been done, and he's just not.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, good for you, I guess. And then
good for you.
Make sure I didn't miss something.
No, I think that was a question I had kind of throughout, was like, wait, isn't he supposed to be wasting away? What's happening? So yeah, I don't think you're alone in that. There definitely is some like liberties taken with the rules and the story that it's kind of why I was like, it's a cozy YA romance. Like, it doesn't feel like it was like meant to be something you thought about too much, if that makes sense. Just supposed to have a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about like the vampire and the liberties taken, let's talk about like the lore, because, you know, you like Western civilization, vampires are most often connected to bats. You know, you get Dracula and all that kind of stuff. But in this world, the origin of the vampires come from Tecuani, which is the god of souls. And so he created the first vampire, and they're connected to him, who is basically like this jaguar god. And so vampires are more closely connected to jaguars than they are to bats, which makes sense for, you know, Mesoamerican, you know, lore. Jaguar is very prominent in that. So I did like that. So, I mean, what other aspects of this version of a vampire did you feel were refreshing and different enough to really keep it interesting for you guys?
Ooh, asking us a question.
Laura, because, like, you know, like, yeah, I mean, like, Belle and I are both Latinx. We're both of this, you know, we're not experts in it, but we both have some sort of connection to it. And so I'm just wondering, you kind of coming in from an outside perspective, like, how did the lore feel to you, and did it make sense, and did it raise any questions, or was it just enjoyable for you?
I mean, I think just overall it was enjoyable, that it was different enough to feel like I wasn't reading a typical vampire story. Like the different like reasoning behind why their weaknesses are XYZ is because of Tecuani, and this is why. So like I can't remember the specific details. There's something about water. Like they couldn't cross the river for XYZ reason, and I was like, because it was different.
It was like the river of death or something, like death had blessed it, or the river of life. I can't remember, but yeah. It had to do with like the deities, which was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just thought that it was interesting, because normally the vampire novels that we would read wouldn't have like a real reason. It's just like, they can't go in the sun because they're dead, so they can't live in the sun. Like, you know, they just don't really have like deep reasoning behind it. And so I liked that with this book, there were connections to this god of why they're vampires. They're susceptible to certain things. So like obviously we know, you know, stake to the heart type thing is a normal vampire thing, which we had something similar in this book, but it was like a specific type of wood, I think. And then they had like wooden bullets and things like that. So we still had some similarities. It just felt like it was a different world, a different vampire world. That just was nice to not know ahead of time exactly what it was going to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they felt like cousins to the vampires we know and love. Like all the main parts are there, but just the flavoring is different.
Yeah.
Like I remember
and
the part,
like you mentioned jaguar, and that's that's the reason they are so fast.
Yeah.
We don't have any reasoning that I remember in other vampire lore for why they're so fast.
Everyone is different. Like, at least there are some lores that explain the speed thing. But yeah, I mean, generally, like, I think there was a lot of detail. Like, this was really thought out. Like, she had a plan going into it. She wasn't just going to copy the, like, Euro vampirism. This is, like, the Mesoamerican vampire, which I think is really cool. It kind of reminded me of, like, some other fantasy books that, you know, are seated in different cultural lore is always really interesting because, like you said, you're learning about a culture that maybe you're not as familiar with. And yeah, it's just really cool. Like, regardless, Rico and I are both Mexican descendants. And so it's like, yeah, I understand why it's jaguars, but it's still really cool to see it versus, like, you know, maybe you're not as familiar and you're like, oh, it was interesting to learn. Like, it was just something new every time. So I think it works for all audiences, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a part, I highlighted it, where Fernanda's talking to Lalo. And she says, "You are telling me you are now like a jaguar?" And he says, "Yes, to an extent. One that needs human blood to survive." So she crosses her arms. "No flying?" Lalo scoffs and stopped away. So I like that, like, you know, like the author is addressing, like, vampires can sometimes fly, but not these. These aren't going to fly. They'll be really fast. They'll have heightened senses, but no flying. And so I love authors that can take existing lore and make it different in very specific ways that still make sense.
Yeah.
And I thought she did a really good job with this. Taking the vampires we all know and love. Why do they need blood? Why are they fast? Why are they strong? Why do they have aversions to water or sunlight? Because, like, aversion to running water is very common, again, in folklore. There's a lot of stories that running water cancels out magic, that certain beings can't cross running water. And so even this had its own reason for, I think, the river Sorrows, I think was the name that translated to the river. So yeah, I think she did a really good job.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Who listened to the audiobook? Bella, you said you did, right?
I did. For some of it.
Yeah, we all did. Okay. What do we think of the audiobook?
I liked it. I mean, I only listened to the audiobook, so, you know, nothing to compare it to.
Yeah. I enjoyed, I mean, it's dual POV. You have two narrators. But I enjoyed the Spanish component to it. Like I mentioned earlier that, you know, this could be a story that my abuela would read to me. It was nice just, you know, as a Spanish speaker, hearing those words. It just was, it was just immersive for me. It was cozy. It was familiar. I really enjoyed that. So, I mean, if you speak Spanish, if you understand Spanish, I think that's definitely a bonus to listening to the audiobook. Yeah, I thought it was good.
I think it's, you know, it's also, I'd say, a little more immersive for those of us that can't speak Spanish. Because just reading it, I don't always know exactly how some of those words are said. I'm reading it in English. So it was kind of nice to hear some of that too, from my perspective. It was funny because when I had first started reading it, I hadn't started the audiobook yet, but I went out to dinner with Jason and I was like asking him some questions about some of the words.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Nice. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I don't know if my Kindle was like glitching out or something, but you can, you know, highlight a word or a phrase and it can also translate for you. So I was doing that for a lot of things and sometimes it was not translating correctly.
Yeah.
Jason, I did not find it, but there was one that the translation, I think, said chair or something about a chair. And that did not make any sense in the context of that sentence. And so I had to Google it instead. And then it was correct. But yeah, so like I always had my phone ready to go if my translator was not being so accurate.
Weird. Yeah. Tell me about that. I don't know what word that would be.
But by the time I started the audiobook, I had already been familiar with a lot of the words. Because, you know, phrases and stuff like I can kind of figure out. But by then I've learned the words because they use the same words for certain things throughout the whole book. So I kind of got it at that point.
Yeah, she was really good at the like immersive education with vocabulary, like by repetition and context clues for the translations. Like she wasn't saying like sediento, which means vampire. Like it just like through the process of reading the rest of the book, the rest of the sentence, like you understood what it meant without necessarily needing to Google, but I think Google is helpful. But like, yeah, some of her words, like sediento might have been maybe the one that like didn't translate, because like vampiro is a word in Spanish, vampire. So like they had a different word for it. So even like I was like sediento, oh, that must be the word for vampire. And it was like, oh, the vampires, los sedientos. And I was like, okay, got it. Like, you know, she did a good job even with that, like her own unique take on it. So yeah, I really liked the audiobook. Both narrators were great. So it made it more immersive, not just from like a language perspective, but just like setting the tone for the book. I always love a dual POV just because like the voice is so different. Like they were completely different actors, like, you know, so yeah, it was good.
Yeah. There was another word, I don't remember what it was, but when I used the Kindle's translation, it also meant leech.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. I don't remember, but I remember reading that and looking it up. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because I think Carolina used that word.
Yes, she called him a leech. I think she would.
But it was whatever the Spanish term was for it.
Oh, yeah, I'm blanking. It's a longer word. I'm blanking on it. Sangui. Damn it.
That's right. It was a longer word, and I didn't know how to pronounce it. It's not important. It was making me think of that too.
Sanguijuela, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she didn't use it often, but it was often enough that it stood out for me.
Yeah,
it's the word for leech, which I don't use much in conversational Spanish, but
no, and it's one of those where I'm like, I think I read it. This is like such a deep cut. I think I read it when I first read A Series of Unfortunate Events, the third book, because there are leeches, and I went to a Spanish immersion school, and so I read that in Spanish the first time.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, whoa, gotcha. A Series of Unfortunate Events. Like that just kept coming to my head. So anyways, yeah, that's how I knew it. But it still was one of those, like, I need to look that up again. And I think he did say something to her, like, did you just call me a leech? So like you knew what it was in context.
Yeah.
Like she did a really good job of doing that, which I appreciate, because there are some books that authors will use Spanish, for their characters because they speak Spanish, or maybe the book is, set in Mexico. So it makes sense to have some Spanish sprinkled in, like this book, but they don't necessarily do a good job like translating it. Like they just use it and I don't disagree with that either. It's kind of like, well, if you were to visit, Mexico right now, like you might not understand what this is and you just have to figure it out from context. So like, I respect that. But I think she did a really good job in that she like balanced the need for like using the vernacular, like the language that they would use, while also being helpful to people who may not speak Spanish. So I think she did a good job without it feeling like Google Translate up in there. So it was very seamless. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, another word that she used that I really enjoyed, and again, I don't know if this is an existing term or just for the book, but it's chupasangres.
Yes,
yes. I mean, if people are familiar with the term like a chupacabra, which is, like a
goat eater,
a monster from Mexican folklore. Yeah, so it translates to goat sucker. And so chupasangre means blood sucker. Like, so it's like a monster that goes after vampires. So I thought that was a cool thing of like, I'm assuming she made it up for the book. I could be wrong about this, but like taking existing lore and tweaking it slightly to give a different meaning. So, if humans have a monster they're scared of, then why don't vampires have a monster they're scared of?
That was cool. That was really cool.
I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think you need a chupasangre tattoo.
Oh, I know. Maybe. Because I did want to get the little fangs that are on my shirt right now, but fucking Z got it, and I don't want to copy them. So
yeah,
so it needs to be different now.
They will say something about it. They'll never let you live it down.
Oh, I know they will. I know. So that's out of the question. So if I get a chupasangre and mine eats vampires, I win.
Wow. Okay.
My God. It's a competition. It always is.
It always is. They make it a competition. Speaking of bloodsuckers, not Z, vampires. We haven't really talked about some of the main vampires in the story. Those Marisela, Vidal.
I was expecting more from Marisela.
Yeah, she was barely in it.
Yeah.
For a big bad, she showed up at the beginning and the end.
Yeah, and I was trying
Yeah.
to figure out exactly why I thought she was going to be more of a villain. And I think it's just because it was so glossed over of what Lalo experienced during his turning. We don't know the details of how she tortured him and turned him. We don't know what he went through, which is it is a gripe that I have in that he this is a tangent. Let me go back to the main point. I thought Marisela was going to be even more of a bad person, bad vampire, because he made her sound that way. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of sort of stalked him, and then they kind of sort of fought, and then she was dead. But at the same time, like we keep saying, like this is more of like a cozy book, so like there's not like super high stakes. So like I get that, but I thought that there would just be more.
I swear that she did say something like, "I will find you. Like you will try to escape, and I will find you. Like there's nowhere you can go to get rid of me." Something like that. Like, I swear, because I remember, like, he was like, we have to leave town. She's going to kill. Oh, yeah. She said, I will kill your sister. Like, she said, I will hunt you down and kill your sister to, like, make this the most torturous thing I could do to you. So she did, like, have a big bark at the beginning. And then, we didn't see her till the very end. And like the author writes that off as like, oh, she was stalking him. Like she was staying, outside of the town, like looking in at the party, eventually came to one of the parties as like, I don't know, like some sort of patron or cousin. I can't remember. So yeah, that was interesting. I agree. I felt like, okay, so are we just not worried about Marisela anymore? Like it was the same thing with the like, he's supposed to be wasting away. Aren't we supposed to be scared of Marisela? Isn't he supposed to be wasting away? I guess we're just in the romance. Did I mind it? No. Did I question it every so often? Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
yeah, complaining. But it was, Jason, you look like you might have something to say.
I didn't really think she'd be a bigger villain, but I thought she'd be a bigger menace. That makes sense. Just like something that was just kind of always there. Someone does this menacing, kind of always lurking in the shadows, popping in, causing drama for our couple. Like
more anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
more things she would do to like
I just didn't really happen.
them out or something.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. She was fine. What I liked about Marisela as a villain is that really Lalo has made her a villain. Like she herself isn't necessarily a villain. And so there's a quote somewhere of a movie, I believe, I could be wrong, where like someone confronts this person who like murdered their entire family or something. And then the bad guy says, oh, like for you, that was the worst day of your life. For me, that was just a Tuesday. Like, I'm only the villain because you made me the villain, like this is just who I am. I kill people all the time.
That is how I felt about Marisela. Yeah. But like,
yeah, like she killed the parents and that was it. That could have been the last we ever heard of her. But Lalo's the one that wanted to avenge them, sought her out, got himself into their lair, got himself turned, and now she's like, oh, well, you done fucked up. Now I'm going to make you pay
came
for
to
it.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, you were threatening me, you threatening my kids. I know. Now I'm going to go after your sister. So, like, he's the one that created the villain. So I thought she was going to be more of a menace. I thought she'd pop up here and there. But she didn't really. And then she got taken out by, quicksand at the end?
Yep.
Yeah, that was so funny. Classic. Classic.
I mean, it was a good scene, but it's funny.
I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I was like, aren't they supposed to be so strong and powerful? Like, I don't know. Sense danger. Like, would a jaguar get stuck in quicksand? I don't know. Maybe if they do.
Would it?
If they do, then I stand corrected.
We need the stats. How many jaguars die from quicksand?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, so the big bad, the main one was Vidal, right? He was the one that started this curse, created the sedientos.
Well, Alma did.
Technically his wife.
Yeah, Alma his wife.
Did, yeah, so you're right. So Alma is the one that created it, but he was the first.
Yeah. I enjoyed the poetic irony that her family being like the biggest vampire hunters are actually the reason vampires exist. And it just
that was nice.
It just was like chef's kiss to the story. Like I could kind of see it going that way, that like her grandpa somehow had found out, like Vidal was somehow like Alma and Vidal were not what they said they were. Like people in power will always be the ones to write history. And so it's like, it just seems like a little too convenient that her family is like so beloved and yet so tied to Sedientos. Like there has to be something here, right? I didn't think it was that really until I think we were further in. Like I think they did a good job, like kind of unraveling the story, but like clearly something was connected. But yeah, I thought that was like a really great way to sort of tie everything together. And also like the fact that Carolina knew about Lalo the whole time, but like her family didn't. So obviously there's that sort of like not miscommunication trope, but just the trope there that like the family doesn't know his secret. And so at some point they're going to find out the secret and it's going to break them up. But it didn't. Like the secret actually brought them all together. They were like, we're so sorry we did this to you, basically. Not necessarily her parents, but like the family that, he meets on the other side at the end of the story, like once the curse is broken. That was just the ancestors. Yeah, it was just kind of cool. Like, I don't know, that made sense. Cause like he did keep his humanity the most from all the other Sedientos. So like that had to pay off into something. Otherwise it was like, this didn't make any sense the whole book. So it all just kind of worked out. And you know what? I wasn't mad about it because she made it make sense in the end that he got to stay alive. But maybe Rico has problems with that. I don't know. I can't tell by your facial reactions.
No, I mean,
for our audio,
I think everything wrapped up really nicely at the end.
Yeah.
It's all very convenient at the end. There was kind of like a happy ending for everybody, but I think that really leads credence to you saying, Bella, that this is a cozy book. And it is. Yeah. In a cozy book, you want everybody to like have as happy an ending as possible, right? So Lalo and Carolina, they're back to being human. They're together. Alma and Vidal, they are together in the afterlife, and they kind of have their like humanity returned to them a little bit. Marisela too. She was the bad guy, but she's like, shit, I didn't realize what I had become. Thank you for killing me and freeing me. Everybody has their happy ending in a way, and is that realistic? Is that what I would want typically from a vampire story? No. But this isn't a horror book. It's a romance.
This is a romance.
Yeah.
It's a cozy romance at that. There's vampires and there's daggers and there's blood, but it's still cozy. And so it was nice. Yeah.
I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention when I was listening to the book. What did Vidal do all these years?
He lived in the cave.
Living in this cave?
Yeah.
And the vampires were just like bringing him people to eat from, drink from.
Mm-hmm. And every so often made a new one. Yeah, that was it. That was it. I think I also got the sense that he, and like this is sort of my interpretation, but like the grief was sort of the cave was a metaphor for his grief, for like losing this life that he felt entitled to.
Ooh,
like
getting deep.
Yeah, like it just felt like he was trapped in this dark hole of despair, of not being human anymore, of not getting more time with his wife. Like, even though he's immortal, he doesn't get to be human with her. And so it didn't really matter. He was like insatiable. And that's why like he was this big, strong vampire with all these, children who would bring him victims. But he was like constantly feeding. Like he was unsatisfied, insatiable with his thirst because he wanted to be human. He wanted to be with his wife, which is like ultimately like when the curse is broken and you know, Lalo goes to like Tijuani's realm, right, and is like reunited with all the Fuentes who were vampires and so on, because that's like they get stuck there for our listeners who haven't listened yet and want to be spoiled. That was what I kind of took it as, was like, while all the other vampires could go away, he was trapped in his grief and like this desire to be with his family and be near it, but couldn't be because he was a vampire and like cursed to kill them, right? Like he was cursed to eat humans, not children. I mean, sure, probably children.
Oh,
but
wow.
like he couldn't be
Probably children too.
Like this was as close as he could get to his family safely, to know that there was a legacy there. I don't know. That's kind of how I read into it. I think that kind of feeds into like, I mean, Mexican families, like Mesoamerican families are big. You know, generations matter, stories matter, like all of this matters. And so to be near it as close as he could was like all he could do. That's all that like remained of his humanity. Hence like the dark cave of despair and his grief to not have it. I don't know. That was my best guess.
Well said. Yeah, I buy into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I got nothing better.
I also don't understand why Lalo did not die.
Okay, so this is where...
Because he had something to live for.
Because they were like, her love is so strong for you. And I was like, wait, what?
I've tried...
Did her love for him save him from dying?
Okay,
Is that...
What you got, Bella?
Bear with me. In the way that Alma's love created Sedientos, her love broke the curse in for him specifically. Her love for him was so strong that she was able to ground him, to keep him tied to earth. So he did die, but his soul was able to return to his body. Like at one point they were like, before Tijuani senses you being here and claims you. It kind of reminds me of like when people are like, I see the light, and they can choose to go back into their bodies or not. Like, do you want, like, are you ready to move on? Is it your time? They were sort of like, it isn't your time. And she's made sure of that. In the same way that Alma made sure that Vidal was not able to move on after his death. And so I think it was like it was a full circle moment in that the love of a Fuentes woman is like what ultimately like can either bring ruin or bring you life, if you will. I haven't gotten really much farther than that, but that was sort of my like, just having read a lot of fantasy books, a lot of curses. It's like the thing that made the curse breaks the curse. So like the love of a Fuentes woman is what made the curse and therefore broke it. And that he was the man that was like the center of that love. If that makes sense.
And he was already a vampire, so now he's not a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's reversed. Yeah,
So
instead of turning a
reversed
human into a vampire, it's turning a vampire into a human.
Mm-hmm.
I buy it. That's
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll buy it.
Not expressly said.
Okay.
Could have been more clear. That's my interpretation. In that, like,
Yeah,
her love is so strong for you. Yeah.
Listening to it, I was very confused, and I was like, I don't understand what just happened.
Yeah. When they said her love for you is so strong, so you are still tied to her. That was like, that to me was like, yeah, her love is tying him to this plane. And so his soul can move on or it can go back. Like she's leaving. It's like she stuck her foot in the door. So he could open the door.
But he can decide.
But he gets to decide, because they were like, you can move on. Like, and he was like, oh, my parents, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately he was like, I'm choosing to live, which I think was really cool, because he did say I would choose to live if I were to get another chance. So I really liked the ending. I thought that was actually like a great way to break the curse, because, yeah, he shouldn't have had another chance. He should have died. because he was a vampire, it didn't matter. They were like, ultimately, it doesn't matter whether you ate humans or not. It's her. It's her. As a Fuentes woman who loves you so strongly, and you were like part of this, you could go back. But hurry, because you're not supposed to. So that was my interpretation.
Yeah, you don't got time.
You don't got time to decide that. You got to do that right now.
I think a big component of it also is the fact that he had her blood. I do remember they brought that up. So I think it was also
you're right.
Because
like,
her blood is in him, yeah.
like, yeah, so you literally have her inside of you and also her love together. I think it's probably the combination of the two.
And Alma was the same way. She cut her hand, or their theory is that she cut her hand and offered her blood to Juani to create Vidal. So that's where I'm like,
so it's all love and blood.
I think it's all like she made an offering. She's like, I give my blood willingly to you to keep you alive. So that's why I'm saying, I'm like, I think the thing that made the curse broke the curse, and he is the subject of that. And that now Vidal gets to move on. He can come back. That's my best guess. Angela Montoya, if you're listening.
I buy it. You know what?
Please confirm.
Yeah, sure.
Would love to talk about it. But yeah, that's, I pay attention.
Okay.
No, it's my best guess.
Cool.
I try to read minds.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think you cracked it. I think you, yeah, there you go. You have all the answers this time. Good job.
Look at me.
I knew there's a reason why I wanted you on that episode.
Listen, I told you, I said, I remember this book. I read it a week ago, but I remember
you did. I know.
It's really good. It was good. I had fun. So.
I know you posted, last week that you were like 80% done with it, and I was like, and normally you
were like,
did it
what?
like last minute. I mean, a lot of us. I'm not like singling you out, but
I know.
You're like 80% done. I'm like, oh, I guess they like it.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, I need a book to read. Oh, this one's available. Like, thank you, Libby, for having this book be available right away for me to listen to while I was waiting for all my other books to become available, which a classic. As soon as I rented this book, they were all available. So now I have like a week to read, to finish Holy Terrors and read my next book. So.
Which library did you check it out from, the audiobook?
I don't know. Greta, great question. It was either Sacramento or it was, I don't know.
Bella, I was just wondering because I couldn't check out the audiobook right away. So I'm just wondering if I was waiting on you.
It looks like Yolo County is where I borrowed it from, according to Libby. I mean, to be fair, I have like 6 library cards, so I just went with the closest, the one that had it the soonest.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I do that
That's
too.
the way it be. Yeah.
That's the way to do it. I even got a Chicago one when I went to Chicago last month, so I'm interstate, baby. I mean, I have a Library of Congress
I got
one
Phoenix,
too.
so I'm interstate too, but you're further.
I have the Library of
whatever.
Congress, okay? So I'm better than you. That's just a fact now. It's for the record now.
I have the Library of Alexandria. Thank you very much.
Oh,
My God.
please. You wish. You wish. You're as old as
It's
the
Alexandria,
Library
Texas, but it's still Alexandria.
You're as old as the Library of Alexandria. Burn.
Hey, nice. Oof. You would have any aloe for that burn? Oof.
I mean, it's for you, so.
Okay, I think we're done talking about the book.
We could just do like a really nice roast on here. Yeah, no, I think we're good. I think we're. Tell us about the Goodreads, Rico. Tell us about these Goodreads ratings. What are we at? What's it at?
Yeah. All right. So this book is currently rated 3.82 out of over 3,000 ratings. Not a whole lot of ratings. A decent score. Mm-hmm. What would re-rate it? Laura, what would you give it?
Oh, don't ask me yet.
Okay, Bella, what would you?
I think I would rate it like a 3.5. I think overall a 3. I think there were some like pretty big plot points we discussed that like kind of bothered me about it. That just kind of made the story too convenient later on, where it was like, wait a minute, we forgot about this whole he's supposed to waste away thing. Like, how is he still so human? But I had a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was a really nice story. It was a different take on vampires. The marketing was disappointing. So it unfortunately gets some points off for things out of its control, like the marketing. But ultimately, I think like a solid 3.5. Like 4 stars to me is like a great book. This was a good book. This was a really good book that I enjoyed. So I'd say 3.5. What did you Reek?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd give it 3.5. I'd give it a solid 3.5. 4 for me is I really like this book. No problems with it. And I wouldn't necessarily have problems with it, but it didn't fully leave me satisfied. There were things about it that could have been just a little more explored, I think.
It could have been sexier. It could have been spookier. I think it could have been, but it was a good time. Like it was kind of like a low, cozy mystery book with that happened to be about vampires in Mexico. Like it was great, but it wasn't like Buffy meets Zorro and everything that we've discussed. So
no.
Is this a YA book?
I don't think so.
It is YA, isn't it?
I think so. I think the imprint Joy Revolution is YA romances.
Let me
if
see.
I remember correctly. It's an imprint of Penguin Random House.
Because I know that they're 18 and 19 because she just turned 18, which would explain why there's a closed door.
Yeah.
Technically in the wilderness,
Joy Revolution's
door.
Instagram says a young adult imprint of Random House.
Okay.
So it's definitely a young adult.
So it cannot be spicier.
I mean, I guess technically it's new adult, but that's not really.
A lot of people don't recognize that as.
Doesn't say
genre.
no one really. It's
No, it's young. It's a young adult, leaning closer to like adult, like young adult being like college would be my
okay.
oldest. So I think but it was fun. It was a good time.
Okay.
Like Britney Spears says, "Not a girl, not yet a woman."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that honestly, yes. So Laura, what's your score? You have yet to share. You've yet to share.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the Goodreads average rating is pretty accurate because I would say 4 is I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed it. Not a lot of complaints, which I don't have a lot of complaints, but I feel like I didn't super enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So I am leaning towards a 3.5, 3.75. But I do think that for readers who do really like YA books, I think that they would really love this book. Mm-hmm. Especially if they like the romance stuff. Mm-hmm. I do think that it is a really great book for its genre. And I do recommend it in general.
For all the romantasy girlies out there, this is like a romantasy light.
Oh, yeah.
It's not nearly as spicy as any of that, but it's definitely the vibes. You got the fantasy, you got the love. It's all there. I definitely do think this book is worth reading, especially leading into the spooky season. I would say September is still spooky season light. Mm-hmm. We're not really fully into it. So I think now is the time to read it, to kind of wet your whistle, warm up for some of the spookier vampire books in October.
Wet your whistle. Oh my god. Quick, okay, Grandpa.
Thirst, a cruel thirst, drinking blood. Wait, it's all connected. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. Let's move on. What's some of the shit we're all individually reading next? Bella, why don't you start us off? What are you reading next?
I'm continuing the fantasy vampire romance, but going into adult, I am reading Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, which we went to the author event in San Francisco a few months ago at this point. I've been waiting for it to become available on Libby. It finally did, of course, at the same time that I got Holy Terrors. So I think I have a week to read both books. So I'm going to really do my gosh darn best to just listen to it. I'm working on my car tomorrow, so I'm going to just put in my earplugs and go to town on these books.
But your car? Your cool car? Your vampire car?
Yeah. It's stick shift too, so Going retro, going old school.
Nice.
Well, then I can't steal it even if I wanted to because I can't drive a manual.
Oh, Grandpa! Do you forget how to drive manual?
Do we
Grandpa?
need to take you out driving?
I never had to learn.
Bella, when your car is done, you'll need to take Jason out and teach him how to drive a stick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my little brother.
Jason, you can dress up like a vampire and learn to
You'll be
drive.
dressed like a vampire for sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The paint is going to get redone at some point, but the interior is like almost mint condition. It's crazy. So it's really pretty.
Nice.
So yes, we can go for a drive. Maybe we can drive my car to Laura's, watch some Twilight again because it's tis the season. So we can, I'll take you for a drive out there. That's a good drive. See, I know how to drive stick, but I learned on a 2020 Subaru. So I have yet to drive my old 1988 transmission. It's a new transmission though, so it's like, it's not hard.
I didn't know we were still making stick shift cars.
Yes.
That new.
Miatas, I think maybe some Toyotas and Hondas and Subaru are definitely still stick shift other than like luxury cars. Cause like Ferraris and stuff are all still manual. Porsches are stick shift, but a lot of them now are like digital paddle shifting. So like manual, literal stick shift is more rare. But yeah, my friend Subaru still does it. So mostly for racing, anything racing that you need more control.
All right.
Fun facts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The more you know.
So what are you reading?
Anyways.
What are you reading, Laura? Tell me. Not driving, reading.
I literally last night just started. I feel funny saying this. I just started The Milky Way, an autobiography of our galaxy. By, I want to say it's Moya McTeer.
Very cool.
Moya McTire.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically it's a nonfiction, basically writing everything that we have discovered about the galaxy, but has personified the galaxy. So it's being told from the Milky Way as if it is a person.
Cool. Cool.
I haven't even finished the first chapter yet. It's really weird. But with the state of things recently, I just felt like I needed to read something that didn't require me to feel emotions.
So fair.
And so this was on my shelf, and I was like, I feel like this is probably what I need to read right now.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
We are very different people because whenever I think about the universe or the galaxy, I feel very big emotions.
Oh.
Rico.
Okay.
He's so sensitive, He's
very
a lot of big feelings.
I was just who was I talking to? Someone recently. I was just talking to someone about the blood moon. About when I look at I just learned this fact and it fucking blew my mind, and most space facts blow my mind. But the fact that every single planet can fit in the space between Earth and the moon. And that doesn't make sense to me.
That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
So, Jupiter, Saturn, all the big boys, they all fit in between Earth and the moon. Like, the moon is that far away from us. I thought it was, close. I thought we were homies. So I don't know. Space is wild. So when I think about space, my feelings are all over the place.
That's really funny.
I've never heard that fact before. I'm gonna look it up after this.
Yeah. Please do, because when I saw it, I thought I was like, "There's no way." Let me check this. And no, it's real. It's yeah.
Wait, but
fact check them.
I feel like that's a different kind of emotion compared to the ones that current events make us feel.
Oh, well, for sure. No, there's different feelings, but then it also makes you feel insignificant, kind of. All this shit that we're dealing with is we're little specks. We're the tiniest specks in the universe and the tiniest little blip on the map. It's wild. And then I have existential crisis, and then I can't sleep. And here we are.
That is definitely very different from how I see it, because I think it's fascinating how little we are in this universe. I think it's amazing and interesting how much we don't matter.
Oh, it's all that. Universe. All that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. He feels all of it.
Yeah, no, I feel all of the universe at once, and no mortal was meant to feel that.
Oh, we should have discussions about the universe later, and maybe we can balance each other's emotions out.
I'll unsubscribe.
Laura, you know Bella is not science.
I hate science.
Bella can join if they would like.
No, I don't want
to. But you know,
I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm really uninterested.
She's gonna be sick that day.
I'm really not into that.
That's okay. That's fine.
Laura, remember how you said earlier that sometimes you feel like you're really blunt?
Yes.
You're not the only one. Anyway, can I share what I'm reading next?
Yes, Jason, what are you reading next?
I forgot.
I'm reading this tiny little book that no one on this podcast has ever heard of. It's called To Bargain with Mortals by R.A. Bossi. It is being published by our very own Emma Sky's imprint, Sky's Press. It's coming out next month, October 28th, I believe. So I want to make sure I read that before it's out. So I got the NetGalley. I got approved for that a while back, and I've just kind of putting it off. And so now is the time. I have a little bit of a window between this book and my truly spooky reads for next month. So I'm going to be reading it. I'm very excited to do so. So that's what I'm reading next.
Very cool.
I'll be reading that next month also before it's out. But I'm excited for us to have all read it so that we can finally talk about it and talk to Emma about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to finally talk to her because she's been very excited about this for a long time, and we know nothing about it. So I'm excited to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
Anybody listening, if you're interested in this book, I highly would recommend that you pre-order it. That really does help out with sales and just getting the sequel made and all that kind of stuff. So if you can pre-order it, I definitely encourage you to do so. I was not paid to say that. Make that very clear. Okay, so that's it for our episode and our discussion of A Cruel Thirst. As always, everybody who's listening, thank you so much for joining us. You can let us know your thoughts on this book on social media. So at Shit We Read, you can also find us on Discord. If you enjoy our podcast, if you enjoy our silly conversations, please rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. It really does help. You can also support us if you like by buying some merch or placing a one-time donation on PayPal or Venmo. Links to that can be found on our show notes. They can be found on social media and on our website, shitweread.com. Our next episode is going to be The Library of Hellbore by Cassandra Kaw. That is definitely also in line with the spooky season. It's dark academia and some spooky stuff as well. So I'm excited to read that. And I think that does it for us. Laura, thanks for joining me. Bella, thank you for joining me as well. Love you both. Thanks for chatting. And until next time, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Adios.
Shit We've Read is hosted by Laura Benson and Jason Rico, with music by Joshua Chilton and editing by Jason Rico.
To join the discussion on this and all other books we've read, find us at Shit We've Read on Instagram and TikTok.
For more information about us or to request transcripts, please visit shitwe'veread.com.
Thanks so much for listening.